Welcome back to the Hammond Collection and San Diego. We got swamps. New swamps started back here. Paddocks for Irritator, Baryonyx, and Spinosaurus. We'll tinker with these a little bit and finalize them when we put the animals in. For now, this is a pretty good start, I think. I'm going to slightly smooth off the corners there a little bit. Yeah, okay. But, yeah. I think it matches kind of the aesthetic in terms of like the divisions of land. Boat tour has been redesigned to accommodate that. We've got some new loops back in here. And then of course this loop here with this protective invisible fence. So it'd be like an animal enclosure here, and one over here. And then these back sections won't be anything. We could have kind of sandwiched it and that would have worked too, but I decided not to do that. Mostly because that's not how I started building it. So that was kind of the deciding factor. Hey, Primal Gamer. Welcome to the stream. How do I think 3 should change with difficulty from 2? That's probably a big discussion in its own. I would like the research tree to be balanced. That'd be cool. Can we have a balanced research tree? Geosternbergia is what we're looking for here. We'll do one of these and one of these. Oh yeah, we could finish a Troceraptor. We should do that. Otherwise, why am I waiting on it? Okay. Put you on that. I'm going to pivot away from Geosternberg action, do Irritator next, because I don't remember what its environmental needs are, and I'd like to find that out so that we know which of the 3 pens to put it into, based on, you know, vibes. So we'll switch over to Romualdo for a while. Geosternbergia can sit in the freezer. A Troceraptor. So we got our raptors in. So yeah, we'll just set a Troceraptor in one of these and hopefully it's big enough. And if it isn't, we knock the wall down and Pyro goes somewhere else. And that is what that is. Okay, Ranger Team 2 is actually on the way already to look at the Dimetrodons, so we can just get the feeder. Don't care about contracts. Anything else to hatch here? I don't remember if we had any alphas we were still missing. I feel like we were good. Giga, Atrocity are both Hammond Collection animals, so yeah, nothing complete that we don't have in yet, at least. Alright, there's the Atrocities. So, the Atrociraptor, we only have Ghost. So we're going to have a bunch of Ghosts. These are our Min Pop 2, so we'll do like 3 Ghost. If 3 is too many, I'm okay with cutting it down to 2. I don't like to do that, because then if you like airlift one out for an injury, the other one gets mad, but it's more important to me that the aesthetics of the park work than it is that the park be perfectly optimized for dinosaur comfort. Yeah, it's a little surprising that, like, Geosternbergia is hard-locked, is one of the first animals we get hard-locked into 2. But I suppose it's a pseudo-film canon species. Like, it's not, but it almost is, right? Like, it had a design for Lost World, but it was replaced by the CGI Pteranodon, so... I suppose that's why they wanted to keep it. If any reason, I would guess that's why they wanted to keep it. Okay, decent chunk of Irritator, but let's throw in this. You need a break, but we can go with the other guy, I think, right? Or I guess the cheaper research guy, but yeah, the other guy. Alright, aggressive, social, humble. Social, humble, Intall. A lot of aggressive. So Intall is 30%, aggressive is 35%. So I do need aggressive, social, humble, alpha. But then I can take the intolerant. Or then I can take whichever other one I want, I guess. Alright, Atrociraptors. Fossils in 17 seconds. We could think about other research too. All right. Although we probably won't do any research if we do another batch of fossils, actually, because we won't have the scientists. So, yeah. We'll just clear optimally. Oh, for sure, because this guy needs to go on break anyway. Wait, did we ever dig up Barry? We definitely did the research, but I don't think we dug up any of it, right? Right. Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, we're not even touching Barry till Irritator's out. Alright, Atrociraptors are flying in. New batch of fossils. Brings us, actually, a good amount of Irritator. Actually, the full genome. Well, isn't that lucky? Although maybe we've got most of the pterosaur fossils, because Pterodactylus and Tapajara are pretty quick to dig up, right? Yeah, there's still some left behind in Romualdo. So, yeah, we could have got stuck with an extra dig and we didn't. So that's pretty good. I set the 9 and I kept the 8. Well, we can look. So Spino's big and expensive. Yeah, we just have to wait till both geneticists are back. There's no other way around it. Stegosaurus. I think we... Do I want to save the 30k? It's like negligible. Who cares? Then expedition for baryonyx, or we finish Geo? Let's finish Geo. Since we started it. It's also kind of a throwaway. We'll, you know, stick the bare minimum in the aviary because I'm not overly impressed with the figure, and I do still want a tiny bit of that to decide the animals I favor a little bit in the park. Also, we need to get this Erie in sooner rather than later so we can figure out if the mod works for sure, because I'm actually not completely sure if it does. Okay, expedition 3 minutes. Might as well clear that out. Actually, yeah, still a lot of Geosternbergia left. Let's clear that out. All right. And then I guess we just... Oh, yeah, we got to check the Atrociraptors. What am I doing? I was going to say we just wait, but no, we got a thing happening. Okay, the area, not amazing, but this one is... Actually is humble social. So 2 is definitely good. Can we do 3? Yep. Perfect. Okay, 3 Atrociraptors. Great. Alright, then I guess... Well... Yeah, I guess we research Suko. There's a stepping stone to Spino, and then I decorate this paddock while that runs. And... yeah. Alright. Alright, there's our batch of fossils. Geosternbergia is not complete, so we gotta go back again. We're still finishing up the Piscivore research as well. Yeah, just the one dig site. Just good to re-verify that occasionally. So we won't be processing those until this is done, but we'll have plenty of time. Alright, we got another batch of fossils here. Except we have to do something else first, which is spend 1 billion points and dollars and time and effort to get Spinosaurus. So we do max out genetics on this guy, max out genetics on this guy. We need 24. This guy has no points, but he has 1 point. That's something we can use. This person is capped on welfare, so we might as well put their points into genetics, and then we have it. So 4 people on the squad. Great food, full of tipsy people. That's when you get it to go and you leave. I tend to not be a restaurant person. I'm much more of a takeout, get my shit and go type person. I prefer to eat in front of a YouTube video. That's my strategy. Oh yeah, we had to put another power in back over here because we were running off of backup power. Probably since I put in the new fences in the back here. Do my guess. Whoa, I saw a glitch. Do we have ghost people? Maybe that was just pop in. Something weird happening there. Yeah, I think it was just pop in from the camera moving slightly. I don't think it was the ghost people from Hell Creek coming back. We haven't seen that bug again. Yeah, the real move is your friends invite you out to dinner, and then you go out with them, but then you get your food to go and just leave right away. That's a power move. Well, this is going to be another 3 minutes of me sitting here, so I suppose we'll pause this video. Okay, Spinosaurus is done now. So, first things first, fossils. We could actually do the welfare specialist here. That's not bad. Yeah, let's do that. Then, oh, we'll definitely stream JWE3's campaign for sure. Maybe more than once if it ends up being decently replayable. Yeah, I usually don't play like I don't play JWE2 except for stream and occasionally testing something off stream. Because, like, if I'm going to play it, I might as well put it on the channel, right? So do I want to do Berry next? Probably. I could do Spino and do Berry last. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Because if we end up having any issues with the Spino enclosure, the Berry is a good one to, like, cut down. Sure. Also, again, Spino's the kind of animal we'll get at the end of a park build typically, and it has no time to breathe. He just shows up, and then I end the video. So we might as well have him in long enough to actually see him contribute to the park. Then we have 1 billion genetics, so we should probably just push Stegosaurus. Yeah, because like everything else is unlocked. Okay. Alright, so we got Spino fossils. Let's get the Geosternbergia going first. So for the Geos, we are doing... the bare minimum, hold on. Bare minimum is... Oh, 1? Okay, we'll do more than 1. They're not that bad. Like, the toy is fine. We have a 1997 skin from a mod, actually, which is perfect because the Hammond Collection Geosternbergia, for whatever reason, is the Lost World Pteranodon's original design when it was a Geosternbergia, not a Pteranodon. That wasn't used in the film. And this always bugged me. Like, why do a Geosternbergia instead of just do the Lost World Pteranodon? Why do the concept art animal specifically? And the maquette animal? Like, why? But thankfully, this mod actually exists to have the 97 version. The Pteranodon, you know, color palette essentially on the Geosternbergia model. Although it is slightly different, because the Pteranodon in the film is like teal, and the Geosternbergia original design is blue. So there is a color palette difference between the two animals in the franchise. It's just very minor. And it's like the same kind of design, just the colors are switched. So this is 10, so it can be anybody. So yeah. Yeah, baby Nanotyrannos would have been hilarious. I saw a bunch of people joking about that. That was the case, that it was, oh, Nanotyrannos confirmed for JWE3. Like, yeah, I guess, technically, yeah. All right, more Spino. Break my bank. 4 million smackers. Actually, let's check the research. So this is a 3. So I can't do this alone on this guy. But I could throw in cheaper research here. Oh, it's not enough. Okay, so I have to do this for the Spino. Or for the for the Stegosaurids. The Spino then has to be these two, and that's fine. Then we don't have to put points in at least. Yeah, they could do the PK style thing of having the different you know, species for the genus or whatever, for like Pteranodon and Pachycephalosaurus. The problem I have with that in the franchise is that like Stygimoloch is referred to as Stygimoloch, so I think for consistency with the films, JWE should keep Stygimoloch as Stygimoloch and not call it Pachycephalosaurus spinifer. But I also wouldn't like write an angry Reddit post about how they're not respecting the franchise if they did just call Stygimoloch Pachycephalosaurus. So like I have a preference, but I'm not going to die on that hill because I don't really care that much at the end of the day. We got 3 of these guys. We got our alpha. We'll hatch all 3 of these. That seems fine. What is my favorite baby? Ooh, the Allosaurus baby is very endearing because specifically that's the one we see the animation for, the parent baby animation. Not really so much to do with the animal itself directly. So my answer would probably be Allosaurus, but it's got an unfair advantage. I like Miacarno, so there's that too. I legitimately didn't realize the Velociraptor baby was actually shown until the 3rd time like I watched the trailer. Like, after both of the videos I made was when I realized that front Velociraptor in the Velociraptor scene is the baby, is the juvenile. Like, I did not catch that because of the perspective. The Stegos were good, yeah. Yeah, the T Horridus, T Prorsus thing for the different JP Jurassic World variants is cool. I do like that. Yeah, the baby Allo being the FK one is certainly a thing. That's a good point people have brought up. Like, why is it not that? I don't know. It definitely should be, but there's also some ambiguity on, like, does the FK Allo literally grow into the Battle at Big Rock Dominion Allo, or are they separate variations of the Allo in Jurassic World, or is one male and one female, and that's where the differences come from? It's not so much that one's a juvenile, one's an adult, it's that one is male and one's female. Like, I don't think that's ever been, like, really officially cleared up, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be mistaken. It has happened before. Yeah, amenities are pretty good. I don't know why we're so poorly configured, but whatever. I guess these have shifted and this one is fairly empty. So is that the one we have to treat? Yes, that is the medicated one. All right, power outage is expected. Yeah, we know that both of the variations on Allo were from Jurassic World. They were both on the island together. We just don't really know the exact relation between the two is all.
The sandstorm is starting to pass.
And I think there is something about the Fallen Kingdom juveniles being males, right? Isn't that a thing? I feel like that was stated in some official capacity somewhere at some point. But them being male and the big one being female, if that's the case, doesn't mean they're the same, like, particular species, though. They could still be separate, you know, Gematsoni and Fragilis or something. Alright, Infected Wound needs to be researched, apparently. Infected Wound is some bullshit, dude. That just shows up all the time out of nowhere. Like, really quickly, too. It's not like I'm ignoring my animals. I'm literally treating a bunch of injuries from a storm, and it's like, oh, Infected Wound, you took too long. It's like, the fuck I did? I didn't take too long. maybe it's one of those, like, the Allosaurus thing is maybe one of those fan theories that, like, gets so much traction it becomes true in a sense. Not in the sense that, like, Universal actually believes in it, but in the sense that, like, everybody repeats it and it just gets so much, you know, traction and discussion online that, like, it blends into what actually is true. Should they add gay dinosaurs to Evo 3? I mean, they should add trans dinosaurs to Evo 3, right? That's canon. I would actually be genuinely surprised if that doesn't come up in the campaign. Like, frankly, if they don't have, like, a situation where your dinosaurs change from female to male in a single-sex environment, they're cowards. Alright, there's our Geostembergia design. Nice, pretty blue. It's a good-looking mod. Good-looking animal. Just don't usually find much use for this. Maybe we've used it, like, once before when we did, like, some expanded canon roster parks or something. Maybe. I don't remember. What do you need? You need absolutely nothing. You're happy and good to go. Okay, well, we'll never look at these again. We'll pay no more attention to them. Excuse me, what are we doing other than getting destroyed by disease? I guess that's it. We're getting destroyed by disease. Fair enough. Scientists. Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to, like, another more accurate Allosaurid, but I don't really hate the ones we have. Like, I like the Battle of Big Rock Allo. I would probably like it better if it didn't have the, you know, the same scoots on its back that every Jurassic World design has, but overall, the rest of it's pretty good. Like, it's got a pretty good color palette that I think is neat. I like the blue. Like, I like the blue when it's, like, the toy and it's more noticeable than, like, the in-game non-modded Allosaurus, but yeah. Yeah, I think something the JWE games or, like, Jurassic World, Jurassic Park games have been missing in general is making it so you do have to fill the gaps with, like, other animal DNA. And so it'd be cool if, like, it would actually be hard to get 100% genome in a park, and you would have to fill the DNA gaps with some other animal. And, like, every animal has different kinds of drawbacks, right? And so the drawback with frog DNA would be that you couldn't control, you know, the sex of the animal, and then you might have unauthorized breeding. You combine that with, like, the new security camera system, right? And you make it so that, like, you don't know, like you might not be notified that new animals have bred, and it would cause problems if you, like, had missed it. You could put out cameras and, like, motion trackers to, like, keep a more accurate count of population, and then you could use that to, like, accommodate for them breeding, unauthorized breeding. There could be some really interesting gameplay and options there. I feel like that would be a little creative for Frontier. Like, they pushed out the boat on some interesting angles for park builders, like the contract system giving you these, like, small objectives to do. But at the same time, they haven't done any, like, really crazy new innovative systems. And, like, a lot of the mechanics in this game aren't particularly deep, right? And so, like, a deep system of, like, having to plug gaps in the genome and, like, you know, deal with all that is maybe just a little beyond the scope of what they want to do with the game. Yeah, there'd be, like, I could see, like, other, like, maybe if you mixed in, like, not frog DNA, it would make you more susceptible to disease, or, like, reduce the viability of your embryos, because that's kind of the thing they say with, like, frog DNA. Maybe they don't say that in the movie so much as in the book, but, like, the different choices of the animals they use for the different animals is based on, like, optimal viability of the eggs, right? So there'd be a really easy way to just have, like, 5 or 6 DNA choices. They have different effects on egg viability depending on the species you combine them with, and then they have their own other drawbacks in addition, like disease, you know, possibility and stuff like that. I guess we'll slap these guys on this. You just get the stego done. It's $2 million. We should probably do cheaper research. We should wait. We'll just process some fossils. Yeah. All right, then I guess we're going to wait here for a few minutes. We should get our irritators. I kind of forgot we finished this. So Quillian Calcarana is apparently the best variation you can get for the Hammond Collection one, which is sure. It's not an easy animal to replicate. The mod, like, it's a really good irritator mod, but the patterning and the way it works is very different than the pattern on the Hammond Collection figure. But I do want to use, you know, an irritator when a mod exists, so perfectly happy to go for this guy. So we'll get him going as well. We'll wait for all this other stuff to happen. Which will be 30 seconds. Oh, and I suppose we got to deal with all this stuff still, huh? You're still in here doing this. Shit is starting to die, though. All over the place. Okay, this is like popping up. So is this disease also one that doesn't actually go below 50%? So it just triggers the "you're dying" warning and then fixes itself temporarily? Or not? I don't know. Alright, all that stuff is done. 5 eggs. These guys are like always aggressive. I think they're literally 100% aggressive. We did not get an alpha. That's probably fine. I'll take all 6. Why not? So I'm thinking... Oh yeah, I wanted to check their needs. Real quick. Sand. Okay, so these are sand. Baryonyx is rock. So having different variations of the biomes would actually be good. So I'm thinking... Sand back here, maybe? This is maybe the irritator paddock. Actually, do we think... No, this is definitely more area, so this should be Spino. Although, with how narrow this one is, this one's a little fatter. Smaller but fatter. This might be better for one Spino. And then this could be multiple irritators, maybe? Yeah, like you could have mechanics tied into the gene system that describe how well the animals do surviving in like different biomes. That would be another way to expand the system. That'd be pretty cool. All right, let's put the irritator in here, I think. Because I can expand this paddock easily back this way if I need a bigger Spino paddock. And I could do that here too, but like this thing has more of a loop to it already. So I think we'll just do that. I think putting in 2 feeders, one on either side here, is good. Because I can keep them moving around. And then we need one of these guys. So here, I guess. I guess we'll put 2 on this. I don't know what else 2 is doing, but it's fine. And then a gate. Can go... I guess we just put it up here on the hill. Sure. Alright. Medical team. You're getting a Dilophosaurus. Why don't you get the guys that are actually here? Oh, because he's down there. Oops. Sorry, the Jeep was in this building, and that's what threw me off. Or in this pen, I mean, and that's what threw me off. Yeah, Eutyranus in warm climates does feel wrong. And some of like the other dinosaurs in cold climates feels wrong too, when they're just got no protection and no fluff. I think if you wanted a good way to get a dinosaur park builder to stand apart from like PK and JWE, or if one of them wanted something to make them stand apart more from the other, I think a really robust genetic system with a real emphasis on breeding generations of dinosaurs to populate your park could be really interesting. Maybe you approach it more like a safari builder, where you do have to do like ecosystem balancing and stuff too, instead of just the zoo shove shit in a pen type approach. I don't know. I think there's some stuff there. I think it's interesting. Let's get these guys slapped in here. then we should go ahead and get this to be sand. So I guess the question is, if this is our sandy exhibit, what vegetation makes the most sense for a sandy swamp? So that won't let me change the texture underneath it, which is really weird, but that's fine, I guess. It's been a while since I played Parkosaurus. We should do a playthrough of that on the channel at some point, maybe. I don't remember all the systems that they have in that. Horsetails? Yeah, that could work. We do it just a little more barren, maybe. Let's think about this. So we got the horsetail slash cattail slash corn dog. Maybe we keep all the big trees out of there. We just do like lily pads and like smaller stuff. Maybe. What about our default brushes? Like I could do this like default shrub. Or we could even consider doing this. It transitions into more... Ooh, I kind of like this. Because then it transitions into more of like an oasis vibe for this part of the swamp. I think this is a way to do it. I think there's an inbreeding system in Planet Zoo, right? I'm pretty sure that's a thing. I saw people talking about that. I think any system they have for the animal breeding in Planet Zoo is kind of a shoo-in for probably also being in JWE3. Because I really do think it's very likely that the systems are mostly just going to be copied from that for the breeding. Like, Frontier likes to reuse Planet Zoo stuff in JWE, so... Calamites look good. We can maybe throw in some calamites. I would like to see a new Spinosaurid added because we don't have a good paddle-tail one. But I guess we'll get that for the Rebirth Spino, right? So I suppose that's kind of covered, actually. So I suppose there isn't really much need for another one. Calamites. Yeah, Calamites kind of works. It would set it apart from the other carnivore exhibits a little bit. If I can get the actual tree proper to show up.
Asset being transported. Asset transported.
Yeah, then we can add some like cattails on top of that for a little bit different vibe too. I think that works. I think that's not bad. Problem I have with the cattails is how like boxy they look. Like it feels a little hard to like get them to not look kind of weird. I mean, you could do something like that. What if we, how How close can we get these to the feeder? Kinda close. We should pause here and make sure the Eries are happy and queue up some more scientist tasks. I kind of like this. Just sneaking these in by the feeder a bit. More Saurolophians. Yeah, we haven't had a new Hadrosaur in a long time. Could be a thing to have. I want a new Abelosaurid, actually. That's what I want. Sir, I need you to move. So yeah, this gets like the gray and yellow of the Hammond collection figures. That's pretty good. Looks like they're happy. Plenty of needs. Space need is, or the sand need is a little fiddly, I guess, but we can clear a little bit of vegetation, like in the middle here, where they're most likely to be. But then that should kind of take care of itself. Okay, I think that's a decent, like, different vibe for a swamp. I like it. Shit. Medical team. Okay, wait, that cures over time. Wait, what? Okay, so that's its own different problem. So we just got two. Yeah, new Hatter since Allura and JWE1. Kind of nuts. I want a good, like, hoofy Hadrosaurus. I want, like, a good modern interpretation of a Hadrosaur with, like, a really thick neck and, like, either the double-nailed front hoof or the single-nailed Admonosaurus hoof for that vibe. Okay, we're just going to ignore this guy. He'll be fine eventually. Because I think, like, we've gotten some really good paleo-accurate animals, and, like, the Hadrosaurs now really feel very, like, archaic and incorrect. And I think we would really benefit from, like, a really good paleo-accurate Hadrosaur. Like a true Hadrosaur as well. Next animal. I guess we just need to get digs going, right? Because we're working on Spino and Giga. And nothing else is ready to go. We could breed more Irritators, but we don't really need to do that. Saurolophus would be a good one. I want Hadro just because it's in the novel. Like, I would be happy to see all the novel animals make it into the game. Yeah, let's just finish the Spino. And then in terms of research, like, that's it, I think. I don't think there's anything else left to research. We did do it, right? No, we didn't actually do Stego, actually. Just kidding. So we need the cheaper research person back to do the Stego run. Okay, well, whatever. All right, let's get some fossils. Well, let's not do the fossils, but we can at least look. So this gets us pretty close. What we need to do is we need to just get the spinal research done. Then we can start firing people. Well, probably not, because we still need to do expeditions, but we could start firing people, technically. And that leaves us with the welfare person. Did we have anything left for welfare? One researchable. Hookworms. Sure. Alright. Well, I think we'll leave this here, because we're pretty close to finishing up Spino. We got the Irritator. Pretty good progress, even though it's a little tiny bit shorter episode, but I'm just trying to balance this one with the next one, which probably ends the series. So, yeah, till next time.